Broadcasting live.
Listen live online 24/7.
24/7. Around the world.
Right here. Right now.
It's 300 Radio.
And you know this, man.
Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Scott Free Morning Show. I am your host himself, L. Scott, coming to you on the ones and twos. Do podcast people say that, or is that just strictly for DJs? I don't even know. But today, welcome back. So I can say it's a brand new Monday morning. It is April the 14th, 2025. And I'm not gonna lie, people, it's beautiful as hell down here in Atlanta. I think the degrees is gonna be like 80 degrees down here today. We're gonna have a blast today. Now, on today's show, I'm not going to hold you guys too long, but we are going to get into some of everything today. I had a whole different topic that I wanted to cover, but my weekend kind of turned into something that I wanted to talk about today. Like I told people on Friday, I'm an emotional podcaster, meaning I'm only going to jump on here when I have something sitting on my heart. And today, I definitely have something sitting on my heart. I want to talk about a couple of different things. Last week, we had a lot of content come out. And I won't say all of it came out last week, but I saw all the content last week and over the weekend that I want to discuss. I want to discuss. I want to talk about the new episode or the first episode of that Pop the Balloon or Find Love Live that came on Netflix on, was it last Thursday? I didn't get a chance to cover it on Friday. I don't know too many people who've actually covered it, but I caught it, and I want to give you guys my 2 cents on that, along with the new Viola Davis movie, the Tyler Perry, what's it called, Duplicity movie, right along with, it's one more, and Keke Palmer's movie she did with SZA. I saw that over the weekend. I know I'm late, but I did. So I'm going to do my best not to give spoilers. But I did want to talk about each one of those movies specifically, because something about each one of them, I won't say all of them rub me completely wrong, but some of them have blaring issues in them that is affecting our community so heavily, and I don't think anybody or a lot of people are even looking at it at this front. I like to do things like, I like to tell people what I learned, especially like throughout. I'll give you an example. Like Elijah Muhammad said one day, clean glass, dirty glass. I say this all the time. Clean glass, dirty glass, meaning a lot of people will drink dirty glass of water if they don't know that it's a dirty glass of water. And see, one thing I know that they do with our content is they put a lot of dirty shit about our culture around a bunch of fluff. And it makes it look like, it's a positive when it's really a negative. But I'll get into that in a moment. I don't want to jump out the gate too fast on you guys. Another thing I'm excited about, today's episode is the very first episode we're going to run it like it's supposed to be done. I know I've been promising you guys videos and music videos and content and interviews and things like that. Had actually a couple of interviews lined up for the day, but I'm not going to be able to do them. They backed out at the last minute. Don't worry, we'll get them back. But we are going to play some videos today. We're going to get into it. Matter of fact, we're going to get into one right out the gate. While I get everything set up, I want to make sure all of the levels are working, making sure everything is popping fine, because we are going to go for a little while today. But I'll come back and we'll get into some of those subjects that I talked about, but I'm going to let one song run, and then we're going to get into it, okay? So we're going to start out the gate first with Tank and Slow. I'll be right back, guys, in a few. We are back. Like I said, guys, I won't go hold you up too long with videos today, but I'm excited to be playing them for you guys, because that's part of the show. The appeal of this show is going to be, we're going to give you hard-hitting subjects, probably racial subjects, political subjects, history lessons, fluff, and everything else. Like today, we're not going to dive heavy into the political realm of things. I was thinking, I was keeping up with the whole Carmelo Anthony case over the weekend, and it's just sad what they're doing to that brother. And like I said, I think we got enough people in the grassroots that are out here covering that subject, so hopefully we can get that brother out of jail. I did see they reduced his bond, but I also noticed that they are trying to, if they didn't, they are trying to remove the money that his family is raising for his legal defense, which is horrible. It lets you know what type of nation we are living in. When I talk to Miss Lovey, my co-host, all the time, she likes to tell me that a lot of this has to do with the Trump era of things. And I like to let her know at all times. I don't think an individual that like 99% of the Americans don't even know personally could trigger them to the point to make them just be openly racist today when yesterday they didn't think about it. No, that means that they had these thoughts in their head the entire time. The only difference is they do have their man in there, and when they have their man in there, meaning of Trump, they feel that they can get away with a lot more, which they can. And to be honest with you, it's not because the Republicans in office. Just to be honest, the dominant society always gets away with things. I'll give you a class example, and I will move on. I know I said I won't get political, but I will move on after this. I'll say this. When George Floyd died, the right wing, especially Republicans, and I'm just going to open white supremacists. That's what I'm going to say. So we have closeted white supremacists, and then we have open white supremacy. The Republicans are your open white supremacists. The open Republicans, can't get it out. The Republicans like to tell you that George Floyd didn't die from a knee to his neck for almost 9-10 minutes. He died from a fentanyl overdose. It just so happened at the same time he had a knee on his neck. Now, hey, it is what it is. We've always said that this is not true, but they've ran with this narrative 100,000 times over. Now, I did catch a lot of wind of this new case with Carmelo Anthony, and I did hear that the young man that Mr. Anthony, unfortunately unalived, was high on drugs at the moment that they had their confrontation. If I heard this correctly, who's to say that the stab to the heart was the thing that took him out? It could potentially have been the drugs that he was on. That's the narrative, If it works for the guy who killed George Floyd, it should work for this situation as well. Wouldn't you agree? But I digress. I'm not going to dive into it. I was going to be very sarcastic with that, but I'm going to move on. I'm not even going to play like that. But I did want to cover something. Like I said, I wanted to talk about some of these movies that we have been put in front of us the last few years. And guys, I want to tell you the reason why I want to cover this so bad is just because we live in a country that I believe knows that Black America is its own specific group, and they're trying their best to break us up. And I think they're using other melanated people to do so. I want to do a show moving forward. I was going to do it today, but we're not going to do it today. We're going to do it this week, though. I'm going to do a show named The Death to the Black American Actor. And the reason why I want to do an episode about that is because I've been watching the trends and the patterns that are going on in today's world, and we are being removed out of every facet of life in America. Whether it's starring in movies, you do not get Black American males or females a lot of the times. They're going to be from other countries. If they were not even born out of the country, they will be like the first gen here or second gen here. But you're not going to get foundational Black Americans playing in these roles anymore. You're not getting the entertainer who is a star anymore. That's a Black American anymore. Where's these stars? Remember there was a time where we had the Will Smiths, the Jamie Foxxes of the world that were almost them action heroes. You had the Denzel Washingtons, the Angela Bassett's, the Halle Berrys of the world. And then when you want to go to straight Black Hollywood, you had the Morris Chestnuts and the Nia Longs and the Sanaa Lathans and the Lorenz Tates and the Omar Goodings. And I can go down the list. And Cuba Gooding, that's Omar Gooding. Omar, I love you, man, but you ain't considered in this group. Cuba Gooding Jr., all of those people. These were Black Americans, and we were amazing. The movies were amazing. And let's be honest today, guys. You're probably not even remembering the movies that you'll watch in 10 minutes after they go off. And I'm going to use this as an example. This Tyler Perry film. And I want to start talking with that one. First and foremost, let's get to that. Let's put this up on the screen. This Tyler Perry film. It's the thing you see on the screen right now. That movie, it's named Duplicity. Yes, Duplicity, starring Cat Graham. I want to cover a couple of topics about this. I want to talk a little bit about the movie. Let me say it this way. And give me a moment, guys. Like I said, I'm just getting settled into the saddle today. I've been ripping and running this morning. I feel like I'm all over the place, but I'm settled now. So I wanted to start off, like I said, I want to cover a couple of different movies and a couple of things that basically piss me off. And this movie, the Tyler Perry movie, is Duplicity. It is a movie that is basically ripped straight from the headlines. White cop shoots a unarmed Black man. We've seen this a million times over, not only on film, but we've seen this in reality as well. Well, my biggest complaint about this movie is the fact of, and I'm going to be honest, I have given Tyler Perry when talking to others, 60,000 different passes. Now, I know people are going to say, who are you to be judging him? We all judge each other all the time. And Tyler don't have to give a shit about what I'm saying, but I am going to say it. And when I say this, I'm probably going to have people that's going to agree with me and it's going to resonate with you. And I'm probably going to have people who disagree with me. And I really don't give a shit if you disagree with me or not. This is my opinion. My opinion is, Tyler Perry, I can't give you a pass anymore. From the content of your movies having continuity problems, to your movies having sound problems, to your movie having makeup and wardrobe problems. We gave you passes after passes after passes for this. But the one thing we cannot do anymore as a culture is give people passes when they're openly trying to create a narrative that's going to make black people look a certain way. And I say this movie was specifically made for one reason and one reason only. This movie was made to not only humanize white cops when they shoot black victims, but it is, this movie was, the whole purpose was to basically make black people look like we either over exaggerate or we are also somewhat complicit in our own demise. Let me explain. And let me back it up. Let me go through a couple of things before I get to that spot, before I get there, because that's my big coup de grace when it comes to that movie. The plot twist. Let me do my whole critique of this movie. And don't worry, there's no spoilers. I will not do any spoilers in this for anybody who hasn't seen it. Plot twist. Very simplistic. I figured out what the movie was going to end like. I swear to God, like 5-10 minutes into the film. It was just, all right, when you're doing black film, I'm going to tell black people who make film. What makes your film very juvenile or childish to the viewing audience, especially a sophisticated mind that wants to watch a film, what makes your content, like Tyler Perry's content, very juvenile is the fact that the plots are very simple. I don't think Tyler, or at least people in this realm, understand that not everything that needs to be focused on in the movie has to be said verbally. And I think that what we don't realize when we watch these movies, like Tyler's movies, Tubi's movies are like this as well. They don't know how to make you feel something in a scene without using words. And I will tell you, in white content, you get this. White content can pretty much make it seem in a way to where they can get whatever feeling or emotion or whatever across to the audience sometimes without having to use words. Black people need to do better at this. Tyler is like very childish when it comes to this. And I'm not trying to shit on the brother just because he's a black man doing something, but this movie pissed me off. So the plot twist wasn't even my biggest thing. That just fits into Tyler Perry's thing. Tyler Perry's theme of movies. It's very simplistic. But what made me mad, and then the second thing is Cat Graham. I've seen this woman in other films before. Cat Graham is not a bad actress, in my opinion. Now, is she Oscar worthy, or is she someone that we're going to say, man, that woman moved me? No, I haven't seen that, but I've seen her do really well. The scenes in this movie especially the scenes in this movie when she's supposed to be emotionally distraught, they just didn't resonate with me. And I'm trying to understand, because I've seen her be this way in other films. Well, she has resonated with me. I'm trying to see, was it directing? Was it writing? Was she having a bad day? I don't know. But all I know is that when I watch a Tyler Perry film, I do not resonate with anybody on the screen. That's my biggest complaint for the starring role. And like I say, it happens. Sometimes, and I know the human element comes into play. I don't know what this set is like. Tyler's set could be toxic, and then Cat didn't feel comfortable. That's why you didn't get the best of her. So I'm not going to put that specifically on Cat. I'm not going to put that specifically on Tyler Perry. All I know is that I've seen Tyler get better actors and actresses in his later films, and they do worse than the unknown actors in his earlier films. See, Tyler gets a lot of flack from people like me is because we've seen you produce higher quality content, but it seems nowadays you can't get that done. Tyler, what happened to the days of Diary of a Mad Black Woman? What happened to the days of Family Reunion? A Family That Prays. Now, I will give you a Family That Prays. You could tell that you put energy, time, effort. You wanted it to be a hit. I don't know what happened to you, brother. Are you mailing it in? Are you just collecting the check because you know it's already going to come regardless just because your name is on it. Because if that's what you're doing, brother, please, please, please put more white content out and leave us alone. Because one thing I cannot do is I cannot walk around and then talk about the empowerment that Tyler Perry does off camera, and at the very same time you're putting trash on the air like you did with this movie. Now I know, let me get to the point, because I know you've probably been listening to yourself. I don't see what's so bad so far. It's just my opinion about the main actor and the plot. You're right. This is where my problem gets really, really bad. Let me take a sip while I do that. I feel like I said before, I feel like this movie was only made to make a justification or to humanize white police officers when they kill black people. Remember, Tyler, you are the owner, the creator. You have your own place. You can distribute your own stuff. Why do we have a content of a movie? And I'm gonna tell a little bit right now. So if you haven't seen the movie, mute this part of the show for about 30 seconds. I'll give you 30 seconds. Mute this part of the show. But I would say to you is, why do we have to have a movie? Why did you feel compelled to do a movie that basically fits into with the same narrative as a right-wing Republican? A right-wing Republican will tell you that when a cop shoots a black person, the black person obviously had something to do with it. The black person wasn't doing something that he should have been doing. And this movie kind of fed into that. You look like you had black cops that were very manipulative of white cops, and they were the head of things. You had, I complained about that. I complained about the fact of the Cat Graham character of the movie, her boyfriend in the movie. I could tell he wasn't on the up and up the entire time. So you made it pretty much a whole entire film, and you made it to where every black male in the movie was a bad guy, other than one, and he was a gay news anchor. Now, they never said the man was gay, but why is it that the gay news anchor, why is it that the black news anchor and the white guy are always together in every scene? Whether they were on air or off air, they were always together. They were together because Tyler was implying that they were together. That's just my opinion. So he helped solve the case, the gay black guy. But let's say the head of the cop force was evil. The black woman's boyfriend was evil. The guy who was even killed was a cheater. So we even made him a bad guy. We made the white cop have a black wife. We made him docile. We made him apologetic. We even created a story in this movie to where when he was a soldier in the army, he had to defend a black woman against a black man, I think to the death almost. You see how this makes black men look like we're the perpetrators and the problem and white guys are just here to save? That's a problem for me. And I know people are going to say, well, why are you tripping, El? It's just a movie. Well, art doesn't imitate life. Life imitates art. That's what it is. That's why I have the issue with it. See, now this movie sets precedent for if anything happens to a black person again on the street, we now have a negative reference point of black people on the force. We have negative reference points of the black person who got shot. We have a negative reference point of anybody black in this situation. And so for me, that's not a positive. And it doesn't make sense that you being the owner of the content would make this type of film. Now, people would say, but he's open to make whatever he wants. That's right. He can. But ask yourself this question. Do you ever think that you would see a Jewish person talk about something that's affected their community or did affect their community in a negative fashion, and that Jewish person made a movie or a story highlighting the Jewish person as being a negative and the person doing something to the Jewish person is the positive? You're not going to get that ever in any situation whatsoever. So when I see stories like this, I have to ask the question, why did you feel so compelled to do this movie? Why did you feel like this was going to be a positive? And I'm be honest, the thing that pisses me off more than anything else, where is the fucking outrage from our community? I had Miss Lovey, my sister, my co-host, say to me one time, we was talking about, she was like, you don't really it seems like you're always negative about everything. You're not happy about anything. I'm not happy about anything when it comes to our cultures because there's so many people feel like they can come out and say something negative, do something negative, and it's supposed to be okay when it comes to my culture. And I'm not with that. Somebody has to be the defender of our culture. Excuse me. Now, do I condone bad behavior in our culture? No. If someone is doing something ignorant and fucked up, I'm not going to justify it. That's the difference between Black Americans and everyone else. Take the Carmelo Anthony case as an example. This is the exact same case or scenario as the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, but the world is treating it totally different, solely based upon race. Now, they're going to tell you that's not the case, but it is. Let's look at the situation. Black boy defends himself with somebody who was aggressively getting in his space. I can't tell you because I haven't heard the report. From what I've seen, this boy was not either this boy was either putting his hands on this black guy or he was ready to, but he got very aggressive with him to the point where the boy felt threatened. That's what the young man Carmelo said. Now, I remember the Kyle Rittenhouse case, when Kyle Rittenhouse, who is 17, crossed state lines with a loaded gun, which is already illegal, goes to a protest, cross state lines with the gun that he does not supposed to have, and killed two people that he said were trying to attack him, and they all let him off. Not only did they let him off, they paraded him around like he was a hero. Tell me the difference between that situation and this one, because I don't see one. So what I want people to understand is that the reason why I give certain black people so much hell and they say, because you don't do this with white people, I do this with white people all day long, every day, all day. But the reason why I don't do it so much on this platform is because of this. It is not my job. No, I won't say it's my job. It is my job. It is my job to tell truth at all times. And one thing I do is, even though I'm Black American, I study history. And one thing I know from history is that you have to get rid of your coons and tethers out of your mix before you can do anything to get rid of white supremacy. I take that from the Haitians. The Haitians won. The Haitians got rid of all of their coons before they could even get into it with the people who were subjugating them. You have to remove them because you don't know who is going to turn on you at the end. I know during slavery times, we had potential slave revolts that could have happened multiple times over. What happened? We had some coon nigga that decided he was going to step up and snitch it out for his own personal gain. That's why you have to get these people out of your mix. And see, this type of movie, to me, makes me feel like Tyler is one of those types of people, because it's no reason to make this film. And you can say, yeah, it's a thought I had. I can make what I want. You can, but you need to be held accountable when you do. Because one thing I'm going to tell you, no other culture is going to do. They're not going to make a film denigrating their own group to big up someone else. That's not going to happen. And if you say that will happen, give me an example. Someone please give me an example of one time in history where someone prioritized making black people look good at the detriment of their own culture. I'll tell you it'll never happen. I'll wait, as they say. Shit's crazy. But I digress. I really wanted to get that off my chest. And like I said, and the reason I want to get that off is because we got to do better as black people. To whom much is given, much is required. We have to use this as a thing. And so I'm going to say this and then I'm going to move on. We're going to play a video and then we're going to come back and we'll move subjects. But I'm going to say this. I look at this act that Tyler Perry did with this Duplicity movie the same way I look at a drug dealer in the neighborhood. A drug dealer in your neighborhood will tell you, hey, I had to sell these drugs to feed my family. And that's his justification. And then other people say, hey, man, the man had to do what he had to do to feed his family. See, to me, that's an enemy to our culture because you did this at the detriment of mine, though. So even for like Tyler Perry, hey, it's just a movie. I made a movie that I wanted to make, but you're doing it at a detriment to me and other black men who look like me. So yes, you deserve all the energy you're going to get for this film. And again, this isn't personal. I was a fan of Tyler Perry. I'm a fan of any black man who can make something out of the mud. And this man has built it out the mud. My thing is though, now that you got it out the mud, you ain't got to be tap dancing for other people. And if you don't consider this tap dancing, that's fine. But please do stories that has nothing to do with our culture, because I'm going to tell you this is a detriment. Anyways, let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and play another video. I'm sorry, guys. I just get so passionate about it. And I'm not mad. I know people say, you get angry. No, I'm not. I'm just passionate. All right? I'm going to play this next video. I'll be right back, guys. See you guys in a second. We are back. We are back. We are back. I had stuff on the screen that's supposed to be up here. But yes, guys, and I'm gonna tell you something real fast. We sorry about the emotion off the last scene, guys. I was a little bit too passionate about that Tyler Perry movie. It bothered my spirit so bad. And I think it bothers me because we already having to fight other cultures. I don't want to have to fight my own just because they're not man enough to stand up and say, look, I'm gonna stand on my square and let my group be my group, and I'm not gonna do anything against my group just to make you happy. I need people like that around me. So, and I'm gonna give you an example, really quick, real fast, why that's important. I should have left it on the screen. Matter of fact, let me do something real quick. I want to show you guys something I saw while the videos was playing. Something I want to show you guys. So now on the screen, let me get it up here. On the screen, you're going to see this pastor. This pastor is the prime example of what I'm talking about when it comes to Tyler Perry's movie. Those types of movies spawn off this type of mindset. Let me play you what this little dumb motherfucker just said. Hold on a second, okay? Give me a second. And I say dumb because I don't know his name personally. Let me see. Hold on one second.
Children to not fight against.
Hold on one second, guys. Hold on. Bear with me. I got the shit playing out loud out here. All right. So let's take this. Okay.
So
Here we go. Let's play this.
Fight against cops, not rebel. From Queens, New York.
Here we go,
My
guys.
parents
Hold
are
on. Sorry
actually
about
from
it.
Trinidad.
Model citizens.
Let's listen.
Stop being rebellious towards authority. Be submitted to laws and ordinances. Stop parking in handicapped spaces unless you want a reason to park there. Pay your taxes and stop cheating on your documents. I'm gonna go deep. I'm about to get everybody mad.
Get me mad.
Stop bending your numbers. Watch. The Lord said, give back to Caesar what belongs to him. Stop blaming white cops for the killing of black kids.
All right. So now let me get my pimpin' music back on because I really wanted you guys to hear that. I wanted you guys to hear that ignorant shit. So this young man and let me leave him up on the screen for the people for the highlights because I'm ready to highlight your black ass. Mr. Pastor Philip Mitchell, bitch nigga. Okay? Bitch nigga. Yes, I said bitch nigga to Mr. Pastor Philip Mitchell. The reason why I call you bitch nigga is because any bitch nigga that says that we need to comply when we have open white supremacy that they admit that they still practice is stupid. The late great Dr. Amos Wilson said this one time. Mr. Amos Wilson, who is, if you've never heard of him, is a scholar that was in the community that died back in the 90s, one of the most intelligent black men you'll ever meet in your life, made this statement about model citizens, as Mr. Pastor Philip Mitchell says. A model citizen is a person who's going to comply at all times, no matter whether it's moral or not. Remember, laws have no morality to them. That's just someone's opinion on what things should be. I'll tell you how I know this to be true. Slavery was once considered legal. So to Mr. Mitchell here, he has to understand that that means that I'm supposed to comply if I'm a slave. That's the same thing. Slavery was a law. So were we supposed to just comply or were we supposed to fight back? So you have to keep that in mind. See, a person with this mindset will have us at the bottom at all times. But it makes sense. His ass ain't from here. This nigga's family ain't from here. That means that his family don't know our way of living, and that's why he makes those statements. You go comply. You go do what you're told to do. Because one thing I know to be true is complying never works. George Floyd was complying. He died. Remember that? So this whole notion that it's our fault why we're getting attacked this way makes no fucking sense. I have too much energy today. But this is the type of shit that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. See, if you live on the rock as a black person, you don't get to hear this shit. But I'm in media. So I have to hear black people get on TV every day and denigrate our culture, acting like they're one of us. This nigga's not part of our group. He can't talk about us. That's why I'm talking about him. Now, I know other people say, but hey, LLL, please don't talk about another black man that way. Fuck that nigga, because he ain't dealing with me. He ain't part of my culture. My culture would have never said no stupid shit about us like that. And if he did, we will put his ass with the trash. We'll put his ass out with the trash. That's what we do to coons. We don't like coons. My issue with tethers are this. My biggest issue with tethers actually isn't with the tether. It's with the people who don't check the tethers. See, in our culture in America, do we have coons in Black American society? Yes. But we do not claim, we claim them because we can't get rid of them, but we don't condone their behavior. I cannot talk today. I'm so riled up. We do not condone coonish behavior. So what I need foreign people to understand is that if you want us to all kumbaya together, check your tethers. Once you check your tethers and you do it enough and openly enough, then maybe, and then just maybe, we can all come together and kumbaya. But one thing we cannot do is we cannot kumbaya with people who will not check people from their own culture. This nigga isn't from here. He said it out of his own mouth. So he's not from this country. Don't talk about black kids. You need to talk about your country kids. Leave our children alone. We don't follow rules just because they tell us we're supposed to follow rules. He said, pay your taxes. The IRS is one of the biggest hustles in this world. The IRS has no bearings, no being, and no reason to be in existence today. It was only supposed to be temporarily in the first fucking place. So we're paying taxes for nothing. We're paying taxes so somebody else can get rich off of our money. I heard this Arab guy say this one time, and this shit pissed me off. He said in his country, I think he was in Qatar or Saudi Arabia, he was like, the way y'all tax system is set up, and he's right. The first 4 or 5 months of the year, you're paying only to give money directly to the IRS. Then you start getting paid after 5 or 6 months. I'm sorry. Did you clock in with me? Did you work those hours with me? None of that. That's me by myself. Why are you able to take 35 to 50% of my income? Mr. Pastor Philip Mitchell, why should I comply to that? Why should I be okay with that? You said God said give Caesar things back to Caesar. Don't that sound ironic? Why is it that your God, I'll tell you how this doesn't even make any sense. They say the planet has been here for billions of years. People who believe in the Bible and people who believe in the Bible and people who don't believe in the Bible all believe that this world has been here for billions of years. So how is it in your book that they're talking about giving Caesar things to Caesar when Caesar was less than 2,000 years ago? Brother, someone wrote that in for you to pay your dumbass taxes, brother. Do you not understand that? Stop regurgitating stuff that's in your book and do some real research and figure out where that book comes from. This is not about denigrating the Bible. This is about people who will not do their homework, but they're standing in front of people preaching about what we should and shouldn't be doing without any background or knowledge on the subject. This is what this man is talking about. If you understand the Bible, preach about the stories that's in the Bible, but leave today in the current era alone. Because one thing that Bible couldn't have done was known what was going to happen today. Caesar is no longer around. So why am I giving my money to the United States government when Caesar and the United States government is not the same thing? But I digress. I don't know why I turned this segment into that. We're supposed to move on from now. But this bitch nigga right here is the reason we are going through those issues. People like this are the reason we go through so many issues. If you want to know why white society can always win, if you want to know why Asians are always winning, if you want to know why East Indians are coming over here in droves and are winning and we're still losing, it's because of niggas like this. See, there was a time in American history, Black American history, we were all on one accord. Y'all remember the Montgomery bus boycott? That was the 1960s. You know, before the 1960s, we had less than 5% of Black immigration in this country. So that means anytime you saw a Black person in this country, you was looking at a native Black American 9 times out of 10. And then for the handful of people who did come over here, they were riders. I love them. So this is not about denigrating other people. I am not xenophobic. I love Kwame Ture. That is one of the greatest riders. He is on my Hall of Fame when it comes to Black riders, is Kwame Ture, a.k.a. Stokely Carmichael, if you don't know who I'm talking about. He is one of my favorites of all time. That man spoke truth to power, and I respect the shit out of him. So this is not about denigrating other people from other places. But what we have now ain't these same people. These are not the same entertainers. These are not the same politicians. These people do not care. These people that get paid for themselves. Have you not noticed that every time a politician gets into office, they do it on the backs of being that they love Black people. But as soon as they get in office, here comes the immigration policy. Here comes, we're going to talk about everything but being Black. Give you a class example. Look at Jasmine Crockett today. I couldn't think of the wench's name. Jasmine Crockett, which we still don't know where this wench is from. But Jasmine Crockett is another one. I see her. She is on a national tour talking about the importance of immigration. What that had to do with Black people? Why are you sitting in front of black people talking about immigration when the majority of us don't even leave the country a lot of the time? Not because we don't want to or we don't choose to. This country keeps you here until you can't move. Why do you think they don't want you to leave? They don't want you to leave because they know that black Americans are so special, you can go somewhere else and make them special. So they said, keep your ass here. Let me get all the goods and services off your ass, but you are not to go anywhere. That's the world that we live in. I don't even know why I went there with that one, but that one bothered me so bad when I saw this guy. But I digress. I digress. Anyway, let's try to play something to pick up the mood a little bit. Let's change the mood a little bit. I went political when I said I wasn't gonna do it today. But let's change the narrative a little bit. Let's switch the music up some. Let's play a song that'll get us more upbeat. What we got on deck? Let's find something. I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, school.
And we've got new school.
Always plays the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
Hey guys, we're back. All right. Well, like I said, guys, I know I've been a little too emotional the last couple of scenes. I've been cussing and everything today, but I'm sorry. Like I said, these people triggered me this weekend. It made me change the whole fucking show. That's how triggering it was. But and I'm not finished. I got a couple of more things I want to rant about today. This is one being the G20 movie. I was going to save this to the end and talk about it last. And I'm going to bring up the Kiki movie. Matter of fact, let me do the Kiki movie first. Let me do this because the Kiki movie ain't as egregious as the G20 is. And the G20 is what I'm going to close the show out with. But yes, anyway, so let me tell you what I mean. So the Kiki Palmer movie, what's the name of it? One of Them Days. Now, before I saw this movie was built up to be like another hood classic. And the reason why I say this is because one thing I notice about Black Hollywood is that Black Hollywood won't support each other. Like, doesn't make sense for all of the independent films that I know Black people are putting together. No one promotes each other. Like, I don't understand why I don't see a big megastar, and I don't want to call people's names out because then it becomes about that person, and it's not. It's about the situation. Why is it that a person who is a big A-lister not supporting another A-lister or a B-lister or a C-lister's film? It costs you nothing to get on your social media, pull up your phone, pop, film yourself saying, hey, yo, what up, everyone? Give me some. Yo, this is The Rock. I want to give support and shout outs to Kevin Hart. He's doing a new film. My boy, I love him. Y'all need to go see this film. This film's amazing. Y'all don't get that. You don't see, like Viola Davis movies I'm going to bring up. You don't see anybody's social media. I don't see Octavius, and this is not to denigrate any of these people. I'm just using an example. This is what we're supposed to do. I know Viola Davis and Octavia Spencer get thrown in the same bunch a lot of times. I think it would be better suited if those two sisters supported each other on their social media. Viola got something going on, Octavia speak up for her. Octavia got something on, Viola speak up for her, and vice versa. Go out to the movie theaters. Film yourself going to the theaters. Film yourself saying, yo, this shit's important for us to do as a culture. And don't feel bad for it. Look, you got to remember, just you loving on your culture has nothing about being negative for anyone else. So when I saw this film and I saw it seen Will Smith promoted, I think I seen Kevin Hart promoted, I was like, oh shit, is this going to be a throwback to a Friday or a throwback? What's another independent film that we kind of, not independent, but a film that was targeted towards Black people? What's a film like that? I thought it was going to be something like that. So imagine my disappointment when I watch it and it's average. And I don't mean to denigrate the film. I love Keke Palmer. I think Keke Palmer is one of the most genuinely nice, sweet people in the world. And the reason why I say that is, even though, a lot of the times you get the same type of character in films from her, I think that's her. She seems to be a genuinely sweet person. Now, do I know her personally? No. Do I know if she has a negative side? We all have a negative side. We all have a positive side. We all have layers, as Shrek would say. So I know I'm here to denigrate. I think she's a super dope person. And I think she carried this fucking film. But it was just average. It was bland. It was melancholy. It wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the worst. The story was pretty decent. It was just an average film. I just didn't understand why they were plugging it so hard. And I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it because I believe the plugging from those entertainers probably made this movie get more sales and bigger than what it actually should have been or would have been. But I have no issues with that. My only issue with the film is actually this is just a movie lover. This is not about black culture. This is not about denigrating us, somewhat. I may find something in there once I go on this little rant about the movie real quick. But most of it is just about the things I didn't like about the movie. The whole time, SZA was the problem in the movie. No spoilers. I'm not going to tell you exactly what happened, but SZA was the problem in the movie. And what I didn't like about the film, the way it was written, and again, this isn't about race. This is about context and writing a great film. I'm a published author. I write screenplays as well. I've actually written a couple of screenplays. So dialogue is very important to people like myself. Context and nuances in the films are very important to people like me. And one thing I'll tell you is that so far the context of the movie, SZA was a horrible friend. And what I didn't like about it, towards the end of the film, it made it seem like, to me, almost Kiki was the problem with their friendship. When in actuality, Kiki is a well-adjusted young lady just struggling to get by. She had a work ethic. She was very loyal to her friends. It's scenes in the movie, like I'll tell you this one part of the scene. The one part of the scene when SZA's fighting the other girl. And remember, at this part of the scene, this is Kiki's character's everything. Her life is riding on what's happening in this scene right now. Right? And in that scene, Kiki still got out and went out there and helped her homie out, even though her homie ain't shit. I mean, it's just my own personal opinion. And that's how I looked at this film. And again, fair use, guys. I'm using this fair use. I'm using this solely as a context. I'm not playing any of the sounds or anything. I just want to use it as a visual for people watching this. But yes, I thought Kiki was a very good person in the movie. I think the SZA was horrible in the film. SZA's acting in the film was subpar at best. I can definitively tell she's not a seasoned actor like Kiki. I think if you want films like this to do better, get someone who's seasoned to do it. I get it. SZA has a name in a different realm. And people like to say, well, that's why we put them in the movie so we can get those people in the seats. That's not true. In the 90s, before we started promoting musicians into film, we had movies full of black people that were trained actors, and we always showed the fuck up. So this whole narrative, we won't support black films unless we know these people, that's bullshit. We like great acting. The reason why people are not showing up to these films anymore is because there's no great acting anymore. There's only agendas and propaganda in these films. When I watched this film, another issue, I'll tell you about this film. I said, and I got a couple of notes that I'm reading here. I definitely don't think this is a hood classic. One issue I will tell you I had a problem about race was, and I'm going to say, and this is something I know I keep telling I'm not going to do spoilers, but this is a spoiler. So mute your shit for the next 30 seconds. I'm so tired of the white savior narrative in these films. Now you're going to say this movie didn't have a white savior. It did. If you remember correctly, the gentrification, that's another thing. They're glorifying gentrification. In this film, this white girl moving into the hood, which will never happen in the way that it happened in this film. But the white girl moving into the hood, that's gentrification. So fast forward 5 years from now, there won't be any of those people who are living in the neighborhood if this was real reality. So that's not a positive to have a white woman move into your neighborhood. But they gave her the white savior complex because she was the reason everything worked out for the two leads in this movie. See, that's another, again, somehow, some way, no matter how a film is presented, they're going to figure out a way to make sure they're a savior in the film. Whether they wrote it, didn't write it for some reason, where they're going to always be in the film, they're always going to have a good light around them. Isn't it ironic that this movie right here, which I don't know the creators of this movie, it says the director was the writer was Sarita's Singleton, I think her name says right there. So these are black people involved in this. So two films that are targeted towards black people, that were heavily involved in the writing and directing portions came out of black people. And both films had a way of figuring out how to make white people still look good in both films. And in that same movie, was able to write a film to make black people look bad all the way around. Inside this movie, all the black men, again, were pretty much assholes and degenerates in this film as well. But I get it. It fit the movie to screen. It wasn't supposed to be a heavy film, but it is. This is when I talk about putting fluff around debauchery. This shit that you see on the screen to the naked and the untrained eye, it's not a big deal. It's just a hood classic. But you don't realize the eyes is seeing this. The eyes and the mind and your subconscious can't decipher or differentiate between, I know I didn't say that right, kiss my ass. They can't tell the difference between reality and what's not reality. It only sees what it sees. And so I know that these people know that that's what they're doing with these films. And I'm telling you guys, this is a problem for us. Before I move on to the last subject, I'll tell you this. What's the name of the book? I'm trying to think of the book by Carter G. Woodson. I'm thinking Diary of a Mad Black Woman. The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson, if I'm not mistaken. One of the chapters in the book talks about how basically white supremacy is on cruise control. And see, the reason why they can say things like white people not hurting you anymore is because it is on cruise control. They have subjugated us so bad to the point to where we will do it to ourselves unbeknownst to ourselves. We are actually hurting ourselves every day, and it's because we've been conditioned to do so, but we've been told it's the right thing to do. Hopefully that makes sense. But Carter G. Woodson said in that book, if there is no back door for the Negro to go into, he will create one just to enter it because it's subconsciously in his mind, he's been subjugated by the white supremacists. He has been put into a mental secondary class citizenship on his own. And it shows in films like this. No one is making Tyler create this film. No one made this Singleton lady write this film. No one made this Lawrence Lamont, which I don't know if he's white or black, to direct this film this way. Last thing I'll say about this movie. You ever notice, and it ain't just about the movies, it's about movies in general. You ever notice that where is the empowerment movie for us that isn't real? What am I saying, L? L is saying, where is the empowerment movie that we have created out of fiction just as a symbol of our strength? Where's the movie that we write that black people somehow, some way fought and got out of white supremacy and they took their land back and they were able to live happily ever after? Where's that movie? Why did that movie never get produced? Now, you're going to say to me, no one's going to let this movie get produced because those white studios are not going to produce it. Then Tyler should. Tyler has a studio. If I had a studio, I promise you, being a writer, I have scripts like that. That's what I'm going to produce. Oh, you're going to say, well, they're going to shun you and be mad at you. Well, you're proving my point. You're proving my point that there's two Americas, that there are some biases, and they don't want black people to succeed. You can't have it both ways. You're either going to believe that, or you're going to believe it's okay to be with Tyler Perry. And say, it's going to be okay to do what Tyler's doing. I don't believe it's okay. So being that I don't think it's okay, if I have the funds, I'm going to do it. Now, on my level, I support my people and I will not denigrate the ones that are not denigrating us. Another person will say, but you're talking about black people today. I am. I definitely am. But I'm talking about black people that should not be glorified or looked up to. Now, should I? I'm not telling you to look up to me. I'm nobody's leader. I am a man with good goddamn common sense, and I know that living in a world to where every time a black person does something, it's wrong, and every time a white person does something, no matter what side of the fence is on, they're right or have some justification for their behavior, doesn't make any fucking sense. But we live in that existence every day. But I digress. I'm not gonna beat that up too bad. Anything else I want to say about this movie? Because I did that gentrification thing bothered me in that film. That white savior concept thing, that shit bothers me. And then last thing, this is something I did want to say about this movie. The reason why I made a point to talk about SZA and Kiki's relationship with each other is because I'm seeing a trend in the world to where people we are big upping. I don't want to say big up. We are basically giving passes to people who are doing things incorrectly and basically talking down on people who are doing it correctly. Again, if you haven't seen the movie, hopefully you may want to turn off for a second just in case I say something I shouldn't say. But in that movie, one of them days with Kiki and SZA was a bum. Kiki was working hard, but for somehow, some way, this movie portrayed it as Kiki was the problem and SZA was the one doing it the right way. No, SZA is a flake. SZA has no work ethic. SZA only thought about herself. This type of behavior can't be glorified in our culture, and it's starting to be glorified. That's my opinion. That's why I said this about this movie. That's the only reason why I felt compelled to talk about this movie, because we cannot keep glorifying this type of behavior, and we can't keep big up in these lukewarm ass films as being classics, because they're not classics. But I digress. Should I play another video for you guys, or should we just dive right in the show? How far are we into the show? We're a minute 5, man. I tell you what, let's play another video real quick. And I'll come right back, and we're gonna come with the main topic, which is this G20 movie I wanted to talk about, and then we'll close it out. But yeah, give me a few seconds, guys.
We've got old school.
Old school.
And we've got new school.
Always plays the new music first right here.
It's 300 Radio.
All right, guys. So we're gonna, well, let me put it back on the screen. So we are back with the main topic of the show, which is going to be the G20 movie. Now, why did I want to make this one the headline of the movie? Even though I've given Tyler Perry so much hell today on today's episode, I think the thing that, out of all 3 movies, this G20 movie definitely was written by someone who was non-black. You can tell because they have turned up the white supremacy or the bias to 1,000 on this movie. What am I talking about? It's a couple of subjects I wanted to cover on this one. See, people, y'all don't understand. Seeing is not believing in this world. The way your mind is set up, believing is seeing. Your mind has to believe something to be capable before it will believe in it. It's the same reason why some people are faith-based and some people are not. Some people believe in their faith because they have a belief in the faith. Others that don't have a reference point for that belief system won't believe in it. Now, both of them can see the exact same thing, but they're going to have 2 different outcomes. So, because it's not seeing is believing, believing is seeing. And the one quote I like to say all the time is that it doesn't matter what your eyes see if your mind is blind. And for most people, we are blind to what happens in this content and propaganda that we get on TV. Family, these movies, these television shows, these commercials, they are meant to give us imagery to get into our subconscious, not our conscious mind. So your conscious mind, you think is the one that's driving forces. No, your driving force is your subconscious. The reason why I know this to be true, I'll give you an example of a time when your subconscious takes over and your conscious falls by the wayside. You ever been laying in bed at night after eating horrible amounts of food and you say to yourself, tomorrow I'm going to get healthy. Tomorrow I'm going to get up, I'm going to eat the foods I need to start eating to get healthy because this is ridiculous. I don't know why I can't just do that. It's just putting a fork or a spoon in my mouth and just eating. Just get it over with. But then as soon as that day comes, you can't seem to make that happen. You want to know why? Because the subconscious is getting attacked all day long. So who's to say when you got to work that day and your boss attacked you, or your boss said something that triggered you, or that commercial you saw that triggered you, it made you where you wanted to go do something unhealthy. That reason you're eating unhealthy food isn't your conscious decision to be done. Your conscious mind was in bed that night. Your unconscious mind makes you where you can't control yourself. And they know this. So when you watch movies like G20, and my problem with this movie, and I'm going to give spoilers in this one because I can't tell the story around it without being just straight up and honest about it. So if you haven't seen it, go watch the movie first and then come back and watch this. Family, in this movie, it is a prime example of why we have to take control of every aspect of our imagery in this world. No longer should black people be jumping on white movie sets just to get a paycheck. You need to see the script. You need to look at it. You need to understand if this is healthy, something that we should be doing, and then see if it's something that you would want to convey. Because what I think we need to start doing as a culture is that if you take these roles that are killing us, we have to remove ourselves from supporting you. I don't want to do that. I never want to tell someone they can't go feed their family. But if you feeding your family is a detriment to mine, I can't rock with you no more. And this has, and I hate to do this because I am a huge fan of Viola Davis. I have no issues with Anthony Anderson as an actor. But anytime you playing in this movie, Anthony, you should have turned this fucking role down. Viola Davis, I don't know how much clout you have in this movie, but if you had any, someone should have said, if we are going to play this movie like this man needs to be more masculine if he's going to be my husband in this. My culture can't keep surviving movies like this. Let me dive into it so we can see. This movie is about Viola Davis, who is the president of the United States. Anthony Anderson is the first husband of the White House, and they have 2 children. The premise of the movie is they went to, I think, a Bitcoin summit or something. They had a summit where a lot of world leaders went together. I don't want to tell you the whole plot, but they all got together, and someone was going to kidnap all of the world leaders so they could get rich off of Bitcoin. That's just the basis of it. Now, what made the movie so egregious to me? In this movie, they figured out a way to, in one breath. All right, let me say it this way. We get inundated online all day long that black men need to be providers, they need to be protectors, they need to be leaders, right? We need to be all of those things. We need to be the disciplinarian in our families. We need to be all those things. And if you can't be those things, you can't have a woman. That is what we've been told day in, day out. Red pill, blue pill, purple pill, whatever pill. We getting told men have to be men. At the exact same time, we're watching the world says masculine black men are toxic and we need to remove them. You know how they have done that? Look at all the award shows that women ran. Every black award show damn near is a Pretty Girl Rock or something like that now. We have completely removed the masculine black male from everything. There is no more black male sex symbols that's on TV anymore. You remember Will and Jamie and Denzel, and the list goes on. We had male actors who were masculine, who were in action films, who did all these things, who resonated with us. We don't get that anymore. In this film, they made Anthony Anderson not a protector, not a provider, not a leader, and even not even a disciplinarian, like I said. They made it to where Viola did all of this while he watched like a good little wife. And to me, that is the most egregious thing. See, like for me, I couldn't have played this role. I understand there's money attached. It probably was a nice payday for Anthony Anderson. I can't play this role. This is the equivalent to me when Dave said, I'm not putting on the dress. I'm not going to do something that's going to make me or other black men look weak. This movie had Anthony Anderson where he didn't protect his children. He didn't protect his wife. There was one scene that two scenes bothered me really bad. There was a scene where Anthony was playing a good wife. I'm gonna stop calling him a wife. But he was protecting the kids. Was supposed to be protecting the kids. He's with the kids, and here comes the bad guys. And he steps out front. What are you doing? They could feel that he must be trying to protect the kids that were around the corner. They said, is your kids over there? He was like, ain't no kids here. I don't know what you're talking about. They basically said, move out of the way. And he moved. Now, great, thankfully the kids was able to get away and they didn't see them. But I'm a father. I'm going to tell you, if men with guns, if my children are around the corner and men with guns walk in the room looking for my children, you won't have to put me down before I move. There is no way possible that you're going to be able to do any of this if I'm in the room. That's it. That is your protector part. The provider part comes into play is that he does not work. He is the first husband of the White House. He's not the Michelle Obama type. He's not the kind that's out there in the forefront. He's a good little wife. He's Barbara Bush. You never heard Barbara Bush talk. He's Melania Trump or whatever her name is. He's her. He's her. He's just there to look good. He's there to be her arm candy, but he doesn't provide anything. Leadership. She's the leader. And I'm going to go back to protection. She's learning how to fight. She has a personal trainer. She learned how to fight. There's not a scene where Anthony Anderson's learned how to fight. And you can see in the movie, there had to be at times where he may need to have some fisticuffs about him. He got his ass whooped. But the scene that was most egregious to me, I think in the whole movie, to me, there was a scene to where basically they had Anthony Anderson dead to rights. They had his mouth tied up. They had his mouth covered where he couldn't talk. And the bad guys, you know the scene that if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to put this guy down. I'm going to put your husband down. First president, lady. No, he can say, President, I'm going to put the first husband down if you don't do what I tell you to do. Now, if I did play this role, if I, in the event that you could sucker me into playing this role, the one thing that I would have to do this role is this one scene. If I'm married and I have a wife and my children are involved, and my wife has to either allow them to kill me or give up the goods to our children, I'm going to die that day. I'm going to tell you, when he puts the gun or the knife to my throat and says to my wife, either you tell me what you want or I'm killing your husband, I'm going to stick my neck the fuck out and say, have your way with me, because that's the day and that's the job. When you're a husband, that is your job. Your job is to your job is to die the day that your family, their safety is put on the line. And these movies go out their way to make sure that we do the exact opposite for that. That's a problem for me. And I need this to become a problem for all of us in black society. No, if we want men to be men, we have to be able to see men. Now, do we have a single mother problem? We have a problem of single households. They wanted this in the late 60s, early 70s for the men to be out of the house so they could do exactly what they're doing right now. They wanted to have it to where men didn't have other men to look at, so they didn't know how to be men. When I watched that movie, I was raised with a father. When I watched that movie, there was a couple of times that I would have died well before that movie ended. There was a couple of times other people would have died if they were near me trying to fuck with my family. But that didn't happen in this movie. That's a problem for me. Then another problem for this movie for me is that not only did they do that to Anthony, and see, some people would say, that's just the way the movie was written. Granted, cool, got it. Viola's tough. They make the daughter extremely intelligent, brave, and tough, just like her mother. They got a son, too. He's the daughter, just like the dad is the wife. He doesn't do anything. He's scary. He doesn't add anything to the film. He doesn't protect his sister. He doesn't try to do any of this stuff. He becomes almost a liability throughout the entire film. So the daughter's not a liability. The wife's not a liability, but the father and the son is. That shit's on purpose. Can you give me a film where there is white men and white women involved and the woman's doing all the heavy lifting? I remember watching The Walking Dead one time. I don't know if you guys are the Walking Dead fan, but they used to dare, and I thought The Walking Dead was an amazingly written show. But one thing they were very much on the show is very racist towards black people and how they view us. I've watched this show many a times where there will be able-bodied black men that should be able to go out here and kill these dead people, and they were sitting at home back at the camp with the babies watching them while women were out fighting. Man, get the fuck out of here. You know that it's not going to happen. And if you did see a big overgrown Negro looking like that, you're going to say, you need to get your ass to get out here and help us. You can't be over here changing diapers. That is to emasculate black men. And for you not being able, if anyone argues with me about that, then you're just blind to what's going on. I watch movie after movie after movie that has males and females in them, and somebody has to get tough. Why are the women doing all the driving in these chase scenes while the men's sitting on the side? Why is the wife doing all the shooting while the man is sitting behind her letting her do it? That shit is to emasculate us, and I'm sorry, not on my watch, not while I'm here. I'm sorry, I don't support that. So what I'm going to need us to do moving forward, if we're going to do this, nobody supports these fucking films. I'm not supporting this shit moving forward. You don't need to support this moving forward. But I digress. I'll leave it at that. That's my issue with these movies. These movies are causing us to lose ground, not only in society, but with our own women, fellas. So this message, and I'll end it with this. This message goes out to all celebrities in Hollywood, especially the males. If you do not get hold of the black male image and the black female image at that same right, we are going to be back in some sort of bondage because of it. I'm gonna give you a quick history lesson, then I'm gonna get out of here. Before the story of Hitler being able to put Jews into concentration camps, he had to demonize them and their image first. That's how the story goes. See, we didn't have television at the time, but they ran it through ads, through print, through magazines, through newspapers. It was always talking negative about the Jew. We have to denigrate the Jew that way. If and when anyone sees what we're doing to them, no one will care. We will look at them as being a negative, and they get what they deserve. That is how it works. You're seeing that very same blueprint being ran today on us. Let's promote nothing but degeneracy when it comes to Black American people, and then we're going to promote family and goodness and wholesomeness when it comes to non-Black Americans. You notice that? Our Black Americans that are special in 2025 are people like Glorilla. Glorilla can't speak good English. I'm not here to denigrate because I be bumping some of the song. You ever seen that dude to be doing that shit on the way? I be bumping that shit. I'm not denigrating Glorilla at all. But what I am saying is Glorilla should not be meeting with presidents. Glorilla should not be sitting down doing things like that. Meg Thee Stallion should not be meeting with presidents. We have scholars. We have intellectuals. We have scientists, educators, the whole. And we have them in our culture. We just don't deal with them. They have elevated the Black celebrity to a status to where they're supposed to be able to do anything and everything on every front when it comes to us. The reason why they do that is because they know they're paying those people. And he who pays you controls you. It's a reason why they have taken Mr. Farrakhan off the line. There's a reason they took Brother Reza Islam offline. There's a reason why brothers like Tariq Nasheed's following gets stifled online. There's a reason why the only time that we want to talk about anything Dr. Umar is doing, it has to be something that's ego-driven, but none of the things he's actively doing to try to do something positive. No, we are constantly getting inundated with the lowest form of us. TV shows and channels like Zeus are being prioritized. When these other people who are doing something grassroots in the community, no one prioritizes them on these legacy media platforms. That's on purpose. That is because we are controlled and dominated by another group of people. Being that we're controlled and dominated, we have to take control of every aspect of our lives. So for me, I am doing my part today. I am doing my part moving forward. This platform is about showing a positive light of Black people. Not to denigrate other cultures, but if you do step in this lane, you're going to get this smoke. I promise you. And outside of that, it is what it is. Yeah, I can't say anything else to that. But that's the only thing I wanted to cover today, guys. That was today's show. And like I said, we got to play a couple videos to get into it tomorrow. We're going to be back into this thing. Hopefully tomorrow's episode will be a little bit better. I'm really, really trying to get this Death to the Black American actor show up on there. We're going to really want to catch that one, because for the people who kind of feel like something's off but don't totally agree with me, all I ask is you give me a chance to present my case, and then afterwards you tell me who's right, you tell me who's wrong. But anyways, that was today's show. I enjoyed you guys. I really, really enjoyed this. I always love it when you guys come hang out with me. This full episode will now be up every day. The daily episode of every show that we shoot will be up on 300radio.com. Make sure that you hit the click and subscribe button if you're on YouTube, because we play the playback there. Follow us on Instagram at 300radio.com. You can follow my personal Instagram as well at l.scott at Instagram. I think that's the same thing on Facebook as well. And other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. Scott Free Morning Show. I am out. Peace.
Whoa. Before you leave this podcast and go somewhere else, did you hit the notification bell? Because if you didn't, please do so now. And I'm talking to the people who've already subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that as well. Hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.